Hello, I'm going to do the Scorpio, Capricorn and Scorpio love reading. And this may or may not resonate with you. If it does, take what does. If it does not, leave what does not. All right, so we're going to get some tarot. What is Scorpio? For some reason, I want to say Scorpio first, so I'm just going to go with it. Scorpio and Capricorn. What's going on? So we have this Five of Pentacles here. So I feel like somebody's feeling left out. Somebody's feeling alone. Somebody's feeling like there's not a connection, like there's not a partnership. I feel like somebody feels like, it's almost like somebody's feeling like they're reaching out, but it's not being reciprocated, right? That it's someone's feeling kind of left by themselves. This is something that the two of you have to work on. I almost feel like it's like two people within a relationship where it's not that partnership. It almost feels like it's roommates. I feel like it's something that you have to work on moving forward. Yeah. Eight of Pentacles. He's taking a closer look at that pentacle and seeing those details, right? And Eight of Pentacles is also meaning a new way of doing things. So I feel like there's something within the relationship. Communication within the relationship has to be adjusted. It has to be changed moving forward. But this is something that the both of you have to be able to be willing to work on. That it can't just be one-sided. I kind of feel like one person feels like they're trying, but then the other person isn't reciprocating. The other person isn't hearing. And I feel like it's that the both of you have to have this energy that moving forward, that you have to take a closer look at how things, you know how sometimes, I just had this image come into my head about how sometimes when people are on reality, you know, so-called reality shows, but it's the fact that they're able to see themselves from a different perspective and they're able to see how they are actually reacting. And now that energy kind of came across me and was making me feel like, you know, if you could see the way that you are responding and you are reacting, I feel like that would really help you to change things up and see things from a different perspective, right? Within this relationship. So that you're facing each other, right? Because in this picture here, this person is looking towards that person, but that person's like looking up over here. Right, so I just feel like there's not direct contact here. But here in this Two of Cups card, they're clearly looking eye to eye. They're looking at each other. They're facing each other. And I feel like maybe that's what has been going on in this relationship, is that you both haven't been really looking and listening to each other. Sometimes we hear people, but the words just kind of go in and out and we're like, whatever. Because we have all of this stuff going on in our mind that we're focusing on that we feel is more important. But I feel like it's changing that to where this relationship is more important to both of you. And there's definitely some changes. And, you know, maybe one or both of you is feeling that your needs aren't being met. And you're like, you know what, I'm just going to give up. I'm just like, I've tried and I've talked to them. This person, and I've tried to explain myself, but this person just isn't listening. But maybe it's about, I feel like going on that neutral ground and kind of getting to that point saying, you know what, we really need to sit down and we really need to talk about this. We really need to take a time out and figure this out. And I feel like each person also has to look within and figure out within how they're truly feeling. And maybe taking that piece of paper and writing things down, like what's really bothering you? What's the core of the problem? What's really going on here? Why do you feel that you're not being heard in this relationship? And writing those things down, and then maybe writing those things, you know, what is it that you need in the relationship? Like I said before, the book, The 5 Love Languages, I feel like that's at least a good starter conversation for figuring out what it is that you need within a relationship, what your partner needs within a relationship, and then knowing what you need to do to help the other person within the relationship. So I feel like you have to figure out what's going on with you first. Because you can't just, because I feel like it's a waste of time if you're just saying, well, you don't do the dishes and you don't pick up your dishes and you don't pick up your laundry and you don't help me with the chores, and just saying that. I feel like if it goes deeper to the core and really figuring out about what's going on, that I feel like that would make more sense to the other person, because obviously it wasn't working because you got to this point, right? So the approach to the discussion has to be changed up. Okay, I don't feel like anymore I want to come out here. So let me grab this one. And I'm looking at this Four of Swords and this Eight of Pentacles. Taking the time out to look at the closer details of the relationship and what's really going on within the relationship, right? Are there other people involved? Are other people saying things? Are other people, you know, sometimes when we have an issue with our partner or a friend or a family member, right? Somebody that we are close to, that sometimes we don't tell that person, right? We don't face that person. We don't tell that person how we're feeling. We'll actually go tell somebody else, right? So if you're having a problem with, you know, one friend, then you'll go tell another friend, hey, this friend over here, they're really, you know, this, that, and this, that, and this, that, right? So then you're saying everything that's bothering you, but you're saying it to the wrong person. Or if it's with your partner, and then you go tell, you know, a family member, or you tell a friend, hey, this is what's going on, and this person this, and this person that. And it's like, well, your partner over here has no idea what's going on, or only has a slight idea what's going on, because you're not talking to that person. So I feel like maybe is it that you are talking to other people? Is someone both, that you're really telling someone else how you feel about your partner? And that's something that has to be looked at, right? That's something that has to be addressed. Again, I feel like it's looking within. And what are those things that are really hurting you? What are those things that are really bothering you? What are those feelings that you truly have, and acknowledging those true feelings that you have, right? You have to be truthful with yourself first before things can come in for you, before things can get better for you within this relationship, before things can start happening for you. So we have the Five of Pentacles here that we started with, and then we have the Five of Pentacles here. But this pentacle is coming in. Help is coming in. Help wants to come in, right? I feel like there may be some signals or some signs or some feelings or some kind of energy around you that's saying, like, could be that inner voice that's saying, it's time to work this out. It's time to put the work in and figure this out and get this connection back on track. It's time to do that. Put the work in, right? King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is somebody who is patient, somebody who is kind, somebody who is dedicated, somebody who is a hard worker. Time to put the work into this relationship. Maybe it was just coasting. It was just kind of going along, but you were kind of feeling this emptiness inside, and you're like, I want more in this relationship than what it was. Well, you know what? If that's what you want, that's the work, that's the effort that you have to put into it. You have to make that work, right? With this Three of Pentacles and this Two of Cups right together, you have to do the work. You have to do the work within the relationship. You have to do the work within yourself on how you feel. You have to do the work on changing things up. Because if things weren't working the way that they were, then obviously something has to be changed. So it's time that if you want this relationship, to put the work in. Any relationship, really. And overcome, right? Overcoming it and strut your feathers, right? Like the peacock, and being happy and being proud and saying, yeah, we worked through this. We went through some struggling times. We were able to pull through and work through it and work through this relationship. And that's the attitude that you have to go into it with, that you have to say, yes, we will persevere and we will get through this and we will find our connection. If you go into it saying, this isn't going to work, and you have all of this negative energy that you are putting into when you have this conversation with this person, if you're throwing all of this negative energy into it, it's not going to work, it's not going to happen, we're just going to fight. Well, you know what's going to happen? It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. We're just going to fight. But if you go in with this conversation and working on this relationship and saying, we're going to get back to this happy place, right? We're going to get back to this positive space. We are going to communicate. We are going to work on things. We are going to change things up. We are not going to let other people be involved in our relationship. We are going to talk from our heart. We will get through this. This is just a little bump in our relationship and we will get past this. If that's the energy that you go into, then that's what your result will be. So I feel like it also has to do with your perception on again, looking within and your feelings and taking that time out to make sure that you have a clear head and that you are going in with positive energy. And even if your partner, right, if your partner doesn't understand that and your partner comes in, but then it's up to you to talk to your partner and say, I want to do this positively. I want to work through this, right? I don't want to fight. I don't want to argue. I don't want us to feel separate. I want us to see eye to eye. And if you do that with a willing heart and that energy, then that will break through to that other person and that person will see that. And if they don't do that, then that kind of gives you an answer, right? That maybe they really aren't willing to work on their relationship, and then that's a whole new direction, though, some whole other choices that you have to take. Armadillo spirit, set healthy boundaries, right? Maybe that's what you need to think about before you even get into this conversation, is setting that healthy boundaries. And that, if you know that if the other person is wound up and you start arguing and you start fighting, then you set that boundary and you say, okay, I feel that you're not ready to have this conversation right now. And so let's get back to this at another time when, we're both able to talk about this like adults, or we're both in a good place, or we're both in a better place. Making sure that when you have this conversation that it's on neutral ground, and that it's, where you're both feeling that you had a good night's sleep and that you're both in a good frame of mind. You can tell, there are times when it's like when somebody comes home from work and they've had a really hard day from work and they're exhausted and they're tired and they felt like everything went wrong. That's not the time to have the conversation. Because you already know that this is going to be another thing that's going to go wrong. It's not going to have the best result. So making sure that when you do this, that you're both in a good mindset to be able to see eye to eye. And to truly be able to see and truly be able to listen. All right. Thank you so much for watching. As always, stay positive, stay safe, and I will see you next time.